stream. This time we'll be featuring the third round of the BF Goodrich Challenge Cup. This is of course the stock car event of the Subic Grand Prix, featuring the Clubman Class Championships and the Novice Division title for the Rookie of the Year. By the third round, the series has been split by Frank Kovacevic and Enteng Florendo. Here's Frank.
So I'm saying, be careful. Don't try to take it on the inside if it looks like my nose is
No, because then you'll spin.
Yeah, exactly. We don't want to do that.
I don't want to do that. Okay, Frank. Pare, grabe ang adrenaline yan eh.
Kovacevic, of course, very serious in grabbing his first ever Subic Grand Prix title. And what better place to start it off than in pole? Francis Godinez in second place. Third on the grid is co-championship leader Vincent Florendo. Fourth is George Apacible on the Hyundai Elantra. Fifth is Mike Francisco. Sixth is the novice driver Giorgio Yaksitich. Nico David lands in seventh, while Benedict de la Cruz goes down to eighth after a poor qualifying run. Erickson Tanel in ninth, and Ricardo Loy, the second novice driver in the series, in 10th. We're now about to start round 3 of the BF Goodrich Challenge Cup in car with Michael David, N1 Racing, RI Autosport, DuPont Racing. Red lights are on, revving up to 4,000 RPM. There's a go, smoky start there for Mike Francisco, leaving him behind. The Hyundai Elantra of George Apacible going up to third place right now through turn 1 as we see the rest of the cars follow through. Frank Kovacevic in the lead, Francis Godinez in second place, Nico David on the outside, now diving on the inside. Benedict de la Cruz not able to squeeze his way through turn 2. In car again with Nico David, prematurely shifts to third, down to second, and up to third again. Well, that's not gonna help his bid into the straightaway. As we see Frank Kovacevic, behind him is a battle for second place between Francis Godinez on the Sentra, George Apacible leading this by a nose, making their way to the Petron hairpin right now. The Elantra with its ABS able to break later. Francis Godinez on the inside of George Apacible, hitting. Well, fender slapping there between George Apacible and Godinez. In car once again with Nico David. Oh, running up on the side of Mike Francisco, leaving him behind there. So a bad exit for Mike Francisco. Down the back straight. On the left-hander, King towards the chicane. It's Francis Godinez in second place, George Apacible in third. Frank Kovacevic way ahead of the pack. And all the cars sorting themselves out to the left and the right-hander towards Coastal, which is the right-hander towards the Hyundai infield section. Most of the cars take this in third gear as they make their way through the Hyundai corner, down the S's, maintaining third as they rock the car towards the right and down the Petron loop. You see Frank Kovacevic, George Apacible chasing after Francis Godinez on the Sentra. Benedict de la Cruz on the Corolla going after Mike Francisco there. And Enteng Florendo having a look on the inside of George Apacible. Apacible covering up wisely. So turn 1 once again. Passes in third gear. Bro, George Apacible oversteering there, but able to control that Hyundai Elantra back into the line. Enteng Florendo still hounding the Hyundai Elantra. Nico David chasing after Enteng Florendo. So this is a three-way battle for third place right now. We're in car with Nico David going after the Mazda of Enteng Florendo. Power clutching there. And shifting to fourth gear. It's a drag race towards the Petron hairpin. David on the dirty part of the track right now, going toward the braking points, and there goes the Mazda of Florendo with the ABS, and it's working for him. So Florendo regains a position, and bumped there on the rear is Nico David by Mike Francisco. So this is a very tight battle, folks. Down the Petron hairpin, down the straightaway once again. In car with Nico David, and you can see how fast this Civic is going after the Mazda. It's really tailing him. Down the braking points once again, 100 meters, third gear, second gear. So this car and all of the rest are both mechanical braking and engine braking through the corners. Approaching Coastal Bend right now, third gear, and then about 4,500 RPM as they make that right-hander through the Hyundai corner. You see Mike Francisco, Benedict de la Cruz, Giorgio Yaksitich being tailed by Erickson Tanel. So that's the rest of the pack. Frank Kovacevic really building a gap as early as right now in the second lap. Going to the Petron loop. You see how close these four cars are. Francis Godinez on the lead pack. On second place, a very supportive Petron SRA pit crew helping out the drivers, pushing them to the limits down to turn 1 once again. Georgia Pasible really being hounded by the Mazda there. Well out of line as Miko David takes the racing line through turn 2, then turn 3, and really powering it on third gear right now. Once again, is this another drag race? Ending Florenda shifting to fourth gear right now. You can see how much gap David takes up with that gear shift onto fourth down the straightaway. Of course, the different cars have different rev limits, so that's just about the point when each of the drivers shift to the next higher gear. And Franz Godinez being bumped there by Georgia Pasible. And then Ting Florendo having a piece of the action there, once again overtaking Miko David down the braking points at the Petron hairpin. Giorgio Yaksitic and Ericsson Tanael on a battle of their own. Yaksitic on the central, leading Tanael out of the Petron hairpin. Down the chicane once again, Frank Kovacevic all by his lonesome self as Francis Godinez takes the defensive line. Georgia Pasible and Enting Florendo, three-way battle once again for second place. We're on board with Miko David's Honda Civic ESI through Coastal once again, and you can see how close these four cars are. There's just no let up among these guys through the Hyundai corner. Down the S's, shifting from left to right, the weight of the car. But very wide indeed goes Enting Florendo, trying a move on Georgia Pasible's Hyundai Elantra, and Enting Florendo is through. But the Elantra fights back and goes on the inside, switching places there. Wow, tight battle here, folks. Down this straightaway. No let up in the action, and we don't want you to miss any of the action, so do come back after this break. You're watching the Subic Grand Prix, round 3 of the BF Goodrich Challenge Cup. Frank Kovacevic on the Hyundai Elantra in the lead. Francis Godinez on the Red Sentra in second place. Georgia Pasible in third, being tailed after by Enting Florendo. And once again, Miko David having a great run up there out of turn 3. Going after the Mazda of Enting Florendo side by side right now. So it's a combination of a good exit and a powerful engine that's keeping David in front right now ahead of the Mazda. So he has overtaken Enting Florendo for 4th place from 7th, braking hard and through the inside line, protecting it. De La Cruz, oh, De La Cruz hitting Florendo there. That's one major hit by Benedict De La Cruz on Enting Florendo. Of course, these two have come into contact in the previous weekend. Both of them, of course, not in a very jolly mood. Francis Godinez on the central, Georgia Pasible on the outside. Godinez taking in the inside line, and Georgia Pasible missing the turn there. Oh, a bad move for Georgia Pasible. Now making his way back into the track, and Miko David up to 3rd place from 7th. So good fortunes there for Miko David, now hounding Francis Godinez, but Enting Florendo on the Mazda is all over the back of Miko David's Honda Civic. And that's not good news for David. Experience-wise, Enting Florendo has truckloads of it, and he shows it right here. Miko David trying very hard to protect the line on the inside. Very wrong line there for Miko David. Meanwhile, here's Giorgio Yaksitic on the Sentra. And Georgia Pasible gnawing at the back of the Sentra. So Georgia Pasible trying to go up the ladder once again, regaining his position through turn 1. Benedict De La Cruz chasing after Enting Florendo and Miko David. Down to turn 2, Florendo braking hard there, trying too hard to make the pass as the rest of the cars follow. This is a 3-way battle for 7th place right now. Georgia Pasible and Giorgio Yaksitic on the Sentra. Ricardo Loy running 10th right now, wishing he could be part of the action, I'm sure. Francis Godinez, Miko David, side by side almost is Benedict De La Cruz and Enting Florendo, the best of friends on the track. Not. Remember, Benedict De La Cruz doesn't care who's in front as long as he gets in front. And Benedict De La Cruz, oh, squeezed out there by Enting Florendo. So Florendo really slow through the Petron hairpin, very wisely protecting his lead. And Miko David slowing down. You can see on his rear view mirror that there are cars passing him. There goes the Mazda. There goes the Toyota Corolla Benedict De La Cruz. And there goes Mike Francisco. So it's a reversal of fortunes here for Miko David. As he goes down 3 places, it's now a battle for 3rd place between Florendo, Francisco, and Benedict De La Cruz, who he passes through the chicane. So Miko David watching the action in front of him. Benedict De La Cruz hounding Mike Francisco, no end out of the turn and through coastal. Oh, Benedict De La Cruz spinning out, and he's in the middle of the track. Oh, very close there. Miko David just barely missing him. And there goes Georgia Pasible past David, Giorgio Yaksitic, and Ericsson Tanael. Wow, lots of action here, folks. Down the S's, in car with the ailing Civic of Miko David through the Petron loop, trailing after Georgia Pasible's Hyundai Elantra, but not enough power there to carry him through. Of course, this is a slow corner. But if you listen very hard, you can hear the engine of Miko David having a problem there, and as Giorgio Jaksic and Ericsson Tanel pass him, going out of turn 1 and down to turn 2. Listen. So obviously it is an engine problem hounding Miko David out of turn 3 right now. Third gear, he's still, oh no! That looks like water from the radiator, and he could have blown his engine right there as he parks it on the grass. Miko David, not his day. So Miko David, after coming up from 7th to 3rd, now falls back and does not finish this race. Tough luck. Meanwhile, back in the battle for 6th place, Giorgio Jaksic, leading novice driver in this race, being trailed after by Ericsson Tanel, Benedict de la Cruz, 2 Corollas, and very slowly there is Mike Francisco. He's parking it there on the runoff area. So Mike Francisco also having his own problems with the Hyundai Elantra. So this is turning out to be a race of attrition. This looks like smoke coming out from Miko David's Honda Civic. And there he is, going for the car. So Miko David, it sounds like he's going for the fire extinguisher. All the cars, of course, equipped with one, just for cases like this. And you can see how much of the smoke is coming out from underneath the car. That's where Miko David is training the fire extinguisher. Just to add insult to injury, I think Miko David trying to put out the fire himself with the help of the marshals. And back in the race, Giorgio Jaksic and Ericsson Tanel once again in a battle for 5th place. Tanel going on inside. Slapping fenders there. Jaksic and Tanel. Jaksic actually went wide, and as he tried to come back, hit and collected the side of Ericsson Tanel's Corolla. But on a drag race in the back straight, it looks like the Sentra going for the lead. 5th place, this is all they're fighting for, and all of them really going at it. Benedict de la Cruz having a look on the inside of Ericsson Tanel, diving him on the inside of the chicane, and going up to 6th place right now is Benedict de la Cruz on the red Corolla. So a great move there as well. Great guts being shown to us here by Benedict de la Cruz. He's going after Jaksic, the novice driver, De La Cruz, the C driver, Ericsson Tanel, another C driver. Wow, there's so much action, and there's more after this break. It's round 3 of the BF Goodrich Challenge Cup battle for 5th, and Morse code there, Benedict de la Cruz on Giorgio Jaksic. So it's a tight race for 5th. Louis Ramirez edging Giorgio Jaksic on. Down to turn 1, and Benedict de la Cruz really all over the back of the Sentra, going on the inside, side by side into turn 2. It's a 1-car lane, and Giorgio Jaksic pulling through. Here again is Benedict de la Cruz, there you go. So de la Cruz really making his presence felt. Right now the Petron hairpin once again. Another one. So Benedict de la Cruz, I'm here at your back, Giorgio. That's what he's saying probably on the inside. And Ericsson Tanel going up right beside Benedict de la Cruz. But they're just far from the battle in the lead.
Well, we're leading the race, so we're very happy. Frank Kovakovic is out there. Looks like he's leading by a mile now. But Giorgio Pasible was running 3rd. Looks like he was involved in an accident somewhere at the back straight, so we have to find out what happened. And Mike Francisco is holding on to 4th, so it looks okay. Yeah. Okay.
Just to update you folks, Mike Francisco has parked his car at the chicane, and this time Benedict de la Cruz going after Giorgio Jaksic, the Italian novice driver, holding up Benedict de la Cruz there at turn 1. But Benedict de la Cruz really looking for the opening. De la Cruz on the outside, Jaksic on the inside, switching places naturally down to turn 2. Contact there as Giorgio Jaksic looks like he's going wide, and there's dust. And here's the battle for 2nd place right now. Vincent Florendo on the outside line, the faster line through the Petron hairpin, and going after Francis Godinez on the Sentra. So Francis Godinez holding on to 2nd place for dear life as Vincent Florendo is all over the back of the Sentra. So Florendo has managed to come up to the side on the inside line. Francis Godinez taking a very defensive line there, switching places there. Vincent Florendo on the outside once again. So Francis Godinez holding on to 2nd place still through the chicane and out, and Vincent Florendo having a look on the inside, switching back on the outside. This is the crash we've talked to you about in turn 2. Benedict de la Cruz ending up the loser in that one as his front end is really smashed up. And here now is a battle for 2nd place once again. Vincent Florendo on the inside line. Francis Godinez leaving a space there for Florendo and slapping sides there. Vincent Florendo on the Mazda, edging out Francis Godinez out of the Petron loop. So a great move there. So you can see how far to the right Francis Godinez is, and by the time he turned in, Vincent Florendo was already on his rear quarter. And Vincent Florendo, already committed, just kept on pushing it and pushing it still. Vincent Florendo warding Francis Godinez off at the exit. And here's the race leader, Frank Kovacevic, leading by a country mile ahead of the rest of the pack. Already fist on the air, he's not even through the last corner, so extreme self-confidence there for Frank Kovacevic, having led this race all the way from pole, now leading the pack into the checkered flag and the finish of round 3 of the BF Goodrich Challenge Cup. And this is how they finished: Frank Kovacevic, Vincent Florendo in second, Francis Godinez in third, George Apacible fourth, Erickson Tanael in fifth. So the first 5 all C drivers, all in the same positions in the clubman class. Giorgio Yaxtich lands in 6th place, the leading novice driver Ricardo Loy in 7th, Benedict de la Cruz slowing down in 8th, Miko David, Mike Francisco not finishing this race.
We are in Subic International Raceway and you are watching Slipstream.
Well, it was a goal of mine 4 weeks ago when I came back today. This was my first, yesterday was my first quick time. And that was a goal also because the fastest I had turned last year was second quick. So it was actually my first chance to start from the pole. And I spun the wheels a little bit. I had a little bit of dirt on the tires because I took the inside line when we lined up on the grid. But once I got in front of the cars very fast, we had to put, I have a weight penalty of about 80 pounds. We had to put 35 kilos in because I finished first last week. And now, because I won again this morning, we're going to have to add another 15 kilos. So I have a full gas tank plus about 20 kilos. So it's a very heavy car. But that's the way they handicap the drivers, you know. So
Lots of bumping from the back. Hopefully, second race will be better. But my car suspension needs some work, I think. After 9 laps, 10 laps, the tires get hot, and then most likely even the suspension gets hot. So the car starts performing very poorly. And that's the time when Enteng in the Mazda caught up with me and took me here in the Petron turn. Sayang, because I was doing well on second. But anyway, at least we got third. So next time I come around, I'll probably have a new suspension too, and maybe we do better next time.
I had a little bit of a duel with 2 or 3 of my colleagues. It was pretty tough, some bumping and a lot of action, some damages on the car also. I managed to resist, but it was pretty tough.
When I came into the hairpin, I think it was the 5th or 6th lap. Downshifted, and then when I released the clutch, the engine died. Then I stepped on the gas, it ran again. But exiting the hairpin, I saw 3 cars already overtake me. So that means I was losing power somewhere. And then when I came into the chicane, I heard that the engine was knocking already. So there was something wrong. And I thought I should finish the race just for the sake of finishing the race. Then out of turn 3, it happened. The radiator hose blew. I parked it on the grass by mistake. I left the car there. I thought everything would be fine. Then the grass unfortunately caught fire. However, we were able to snuff out the fire. And for now, we're rebuilding the car. Hopefully, if the engine's still in good shape, we can run the second race. Hopefully.
So it's another finished 3rd place on the podium by Francis Godinez, and proxying for Enteng Florendo is Giorgio Silverio, and proxying for Frank Kovacevic it's Carlos Anton. Join us again next week for the 1999 Petron Grand Prix.